Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a moment to rise above the noise of daily living and peer into a higher dimension, a place where intelligence is not merely defined by books or degrees, but by the alignment of mind, purpose, and character. When we speak of highly intelligent women, we are not speaking of those who simply score well on tests or articulate well in boardrooms. We are speaking of a deeper intelligence, a kind that births influence, creates legacy, and transforms environments. This intelligence is marked not by noise but by fruit, not by appearance but by substance. Intelligent women understand that greatness is not stumbled upon, it is cultivated, and the first place cultivation must begin is within the self. They are deeply aware that the foundation of every meaningful pursuit, be it in leadership, family, ministry, or career, rests on the quality of their internal structure. Therefore, they commit to the discipline of intentional self-development. This is not a seasonal act, nor is it dependent on applause. It is a daily habit, a personal commitment to never leave the soul unattended. They begin with the mind. The intelligent woman feeds her mind not with fluff, but with substance. She reads, she studies, she asks hard questions. She does not outsource her thinking to society, media, or popular opinion. She searches for truth like a miner searches for gold. She surrounds herself with voices of wisdom, books, mentors, thought leaders, not because she seeks to impress, but because she knows the mind is the control center of destiny. Her intellectual growth is not performance-driven, it is purpose-driven. She wants to understand principles, systems, history, psychology, theology, and anything else that sharpens her discernment and deepens her insight. For her, learning is not an academic requirement, it is a way of life. Beyond the mind, she develops the spirit. She recognizes that without inner clarity, outer ambition is dangerous. Her spirit is where she anchors her identity. It is where she finds strength that doesn't collapse under pressure. It is where she discerns the seasons of her life and aligns herself with divine timing. An intelligent woman is not merely spiritual by tradition. She is spiritually intentional. She creates space in her day to pray, to reflect, to listen. She understands that wisdom often speaks in stillness. She knows that without divine direction, she may succeed in the wrong thing, and for her that is failure. So she sharpens her inner ear, keeps her spirit clean, and maintains intimacy with the source of her life. But she also tends to her emotions. Intelligent women know that emotional chaos is the enemy of clarity, so they engage in honest self-examination. They process pain instead of burying it. They confront insecurity instead of masking it. They take responsibility for their reactions, recognizing that maturity is not measured by how loud you speak, but how well you manage yourself under pressure. When she is hurt, she seeks healing, not revenge. When she is afraid, she seeks understanding, not denial. She does not suppress her emotions, she transforms them. Through journaling, mentorship, therapy, or trusted spiritual guidance, she keeps her heart aligned. Not perfect, but aligned. Professionally, she refuses to coast. She sets goals not because she is ambitious, but because she is a steward. She understands that her gifts were given for a reason, and she will not bury them out of fear or laziness. She seeks feedback, not just praise. She embraces correction, not just comfort. Whether she is in the boardroom or in the classroom, whether she is managing a business or raising a family, she approaches her assignments with diligence. She doesn't wait to be pushed. She pushes herself, and she doesn't view success as a rival, but as responsibility. The higher she goes, the deeper she goes into herself, into her character, into her calling. All of this is not accidental. It is the result of intentionality. Daily intelligent women rise with the decision to build, not just careers, not just networks, but themselves. They understand that the world will always place demands on them, so they must remain full. They do not live by default, they live by design. Their excellence is not a public show, it is a private commitment to never stop evolving. Every conversation, every opportunity, every quiet morning becomes a classroom. They are not waiting to be developed by others. They are daily developing themselves. Highly intelligent women do not live by chance. They live by choice. They are not driven by mere activity. They are led by intentional thought. Strategic thinking is not just a skill they use in a corporate setting. It is a way of life. It informs how they navigate relationships, how they plan their days, how they manage resources, and how they respond to challenges. They understand that life rewards those who think before they move. Every step they take is calculated, not based on fear, but on foresight. This kind of thinking begins with clarity. An intelligent woman is not trying to do everything. She is focused on doing the right things. She does not say yes to every invitation or opportunity. Before committing, she asks, "Does this align with my long-term vision?" She understands that distraction often comes disguised as opportunity. She is not impressed by fast results or immediate applause. She is invested in long-term value. Therefore, she pauses, she assesses, she weighs the cost, she considers the impact. She is not hasty, but neither is she passive. Her decisions are deliberate because her direction is clear. She thinks in terms of systems, not just outcomes. When she faces a challenge, she doesn't just ask, "What's wrong?" She digs deeper and asks, "Why is it wrong? What pattern created this result?" She dissects problems like a strategist, identifying root causes rather than reacting to surface issues. Whether she's managing a team or making a decision for her family, she's looking beyond symptoms. She's seeking structure. Her thinking is layered. She moves from problem to pattern, from pattern to principle, from principle to solution. This is not overthinking. This is intelligent analysis rooted in vision. A strategically minded woman also sees time differently. She does not waste it. She understands that every hour is an investment. She plans her schedule with intention, knowing that time is a non-renewable resource. She doesn't just fill her calendar, she aligns it with her priorities. She evaluates whether her daily habits are leading her toward her desired outcomes. She doesn't just want to be busy, she wants to be effective. She sets long-term goals and breaks them into achievable milestones. She reviews, adjusts, and holds herself accountable. Her productivity is not accidental. It is a result of deliberate design. Intelligent women also think with the future in mind. They do not merely live for today. They ask, "Where is this taking me? What kind of legacy am I building? How will this decision affect my future self or those connected to me?" They see consequences before they appear. This foresight allows them to avoid traps and navigate complexities with grace. They are not caught off guard by life's surprises because they spend time preparing in advance. This does not mean they are inflexible. It means they are intentional. When changes come, they adjust but never lose sight of their direction. Their strategic thinking extends to relationships. They observe before they commit. They are not quick to open their lives to everyone who smiles at them. They ask questions. Does this person support my values? Do they add clarity or confusion to my life? Is their presence helping me grow or holding me back? They know that the wrong relationship can delay the right destiny. Therefore, they are careful with their emotional investments. Love, friendship, partnership, each is weighed with wisdom, not just emotion. This kind of thinking is often invisible to others, but it governs everything. It is not loud, but it is powerful. Strategic thinking is a quiet discipline, a commitment to pause before moving, to ask before answering, to analyze before reacting. It requires strength to delay gratification, to decline tempting distractions, and to stay focused when others chase the crowd. But intelligent women are willing to carry this weight because they know that scattered living leads to scattered results. Their life is not defined by how fast they move, but by how wisely they think before they do. Highly intelligent women understand that emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings, but about stewarding them. They recognize that emotions are powerful, but when unmanaged, they can be destructive. They do not allow temporary feelings to make permanent decisions. They have trained themselves to respond, not to react. This kind of woman does not deny her humanity, but she has developed the maturity to filter her emotions through wisdom before allowing them to dictate her actions. She does not let anger write her emails or fear design her future. She acknowledges how she feels, but she has learned how to guide those feelings into a productive direction. When she is offended, she does not rush to defend her pride. She understands that not every provocation deserves her energy. She has cultivated the discipline to step back and ask, what is really going on here? Emotional mastery gives her the ability to separate the issue from the individual. She does not lash out or seek revenge because she knows that peace is more powerful than retaliation. Instead of letting offense turn into bitterness, she uses it as an opportunity for reflection and growth. She chooses healing over harboring resentment. She learns the lesson but refuses to carry the weight of unnecessary emotional baggage. In times of stress, she doesn't allow anxiety to dominate her decisions. She leans on structure, on principles she has developed in moments of clarity. She knows that chaos cannot be managed by emotion alone. She has trained herself to pause, to breathe, to return to what she knows rather than be swept away by how she feels. Her calm in the midst of crisis is not because she feels no fear, but because she has decided not to be led by it. She turns inward for strength, recalling who she is and whose she is, anchoring herself in truth rather than turbulence. In relationships, she exercises emotional discernment. She does not overshare in the name of vulnerability, nor does she build walls in the name of strength. She finds balance. She knows when to speak and when silence will say more. She listens beyond words. She can sense when someone is speaking from pain or manipulation, and she chooses her response with care. She does not fight every battle presented to her because she understands that peace is not weakness. It is a strategy. Her ability to manage her emotions protects her from unnecessary drama and allows her to remain focused on what truly matters. In moments of failure or disappointment, she does not allow shame to silence her potential. She confronts her emotions honestly, but she does not stay in them. She knows that emotions are indicators, not dictators. If she feels fear, she investigates the root. If she feels sadness, she allows herself to process it without drowning in it. Emotional mastery gives her the ability to walk through pain without becoming it. She emerges wiser, not bitter, deeper, not defeated. She learns how to sit with herself in silence, to cry when she must, to heal fully before moving forward. She also knows the importance of boundaries. She does not allow others to manipulate her emotions for their own benefit. She is not easily guilted into action, nor is she pressured into roles that violate her peace. She does not confuse compassion with codependency. Her empathy is strong, but it is directed. She knows how to care without being consumed, how to support without self-abandonment. She makes decisions not just with her heart, but with her whole self, mind, spirit, and vision. This mastery is not something she was born with, it was developed. Through mistakes, through heartbreak, through seasons of being misunderstood, but she chose to grow. She chose to learn. She chose to get back up with more understanding than before. Her emotional intelligence is not just a strength, it is a strategy. It allows her to walk into rooms with grace, to handle pressure with poise, and to make decisions that build rather than break. She does not deny her emotions, but she has learned to lead them, and in doing so, she leads herself. Highly intelligent women understand that who you walk with shapes where you go. They are not careless with their connections, because they know that relationships are not neutral. Every person in your life is either fueling your purpose or feeding your distractions. Intelligent women are intentional about their associations. They don't choose companions based on convenience, chemistry, or charisma. They evaluate character, they watch patterns, they discern energy. Before they open their inner world to someone, they consider what kind of influence that person brings. They understand that access is a privilege, not a right. She is not impressed by popularity, status, or appearance. She is drawn to integrity, consistency, and alignment. When she listens not just to what is being said, but to what is being lived. She understands that a person's habits will eventually impact hers if she walks closely with them. If someone lives without vision, she knows that her own clarity can become blurred over time. If someone speaks with bitterness, she knows it can poison her peace if she allows it to settle in her space. She is not arrogant or dismissive, but she is discerning. Her associations are not random, they are strategic. In friendship, she values quality over quantity. She doesn't need a large crowd around her to feel validated. She needs a circle that reflects her values and reinforces her growth. She seeks friends who tell her the truth with love, who celebrate her wins without competition, who challenge her when she drifts from her standards. She avoids environments where gossip is the glue and comparison is the culture. She surrounds herself with women who pray, who plan, who build, who dream. And if she cannot find such women, she does not settle. She continues to become that woman herself until she attracts the company her purpose requires. In mentorship, she seeks wisdom, not hype. She looks for individuals who have fruit in the areas she desires to grow in. She does not chase fame, she seeks foundation. She listens to those who have walked through the seasons she is preparing for. She humbles herself to receive instruction, but remains discerning enough to filter advice through her own vision. She is not led by every voice, because not every voice is assigned to her destiny. She chooses mentors based not just on knowledge, but on alignment with her principles and values. In romance, she is not blinded by charm or overwhelmed by attention. She evaluates whether a potential partner is compatible with her calling. She does not fall in love with potential, she observes patterns. She listens to how a man speaks when no one is watching. She watches how he treats people who have nothing to offer him. She asks questions about purpose, vision, faith, discipline. She is not in a hurry because she knows that partnership is not about completing her, but about complementing the mission she is already living. She does not sacrifice peace for passion, nor does she trade her standards for temporary companionship. She is willing to walk alone rather than tie her future to someone who pulls her backward. In professional environments, she networks with purpose. She does not build connections simply to be seen, but to grow. She seeks collaboration, not competition. She adds value before asking for opportunity. She guards her reputation because she knows that character travels faster than credentials. She is mindful of the environments she plants herself in because she knows that culture is contagious. She chooses teams, collaborators, and partners with a focus on shared vision and mutual respect. She is not afraid to walk away from what looks good if it does not align with what is right. She understands that relationships are not decorations, they are directions. Every voice she allows close has the power to influence her thinking, her habits, and ultimately her outcome. Therefore, she builds her circle with wisdom and walks with those who challenge her to become more, not settle for less. Highly intelligent women do not live by reaction, they live by revelation. They are not easily swayed by popular opinion, societal trends, or external validation because they are anchored in something deeper, purpose. Purpose is not a vague concept to them. It is a living reality that shapes their choices, fuels their disciplines, and defines their identity. They have spent time discovering why they were created, and everything they do flows from that understanding. They are not aimless wanderers. They are women on assignment. They wake up with intention because their days are not random. Even in the mundane, they find meaning because they know they are part of something larger than themselves. Their careers are not just about income, they are about impact. Their families are not just responsibilities, they are legacies in motion. Their talents are not just for self-expression, they are tools for service. Every move they make is measured against the question, Does this align with my purpose? That question governs their decisions, their relationships, and their goals. They are not chasing applause or chasing after what looks impressive on the surface. They are not driven by comparison. They are not watching what others are doing to determine their next move. Their pace is not set by pressure. It is set by purpose. That means they are comfortable walking alone when necessary. They are not afraid to be misunderstood for a season if it means remaining true to their calling. They understand that obedience to purpose sometimes requires sacrifice, of comfort, of familiarity, even of acceptance. But they are willing to pay the price because they know the reward is greater. When challenges arise, they don't fall into despair because they know that pain has a place in the process. Purpose gives them context for adversity. It helps them see storms not as punishments, but as preparation. They understand that resistance develops resilience, and trials often reveal direction. Because of their purpose, they don't interpret every closed door as rejection. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is protection. Purpose keeps their vision intact even when their plans change. They know what they are called to do, and they are committed to becoming who they must be to carry that calling with excellence. They do not allow their emotions to lead them into confusion because they have already decided what their life is about. That clarity simplifies complex situations. When opportunities arise, they don't ask, "Is this impressive?" They ask, "Is this aligned?" When relationships develop, they don't ask, "Is this exciting?" They ask, "Does this support my vision?" Their decisions are not reactionary, they are deeply rooted in an internal compass. That compass keeps them steady when life is uncertain. It keeps them humble when success comes. It keeps them focused when distractions call. Highly intelligent women also recognize that purpose evolves. As they grow, they gain deeper insight into what they were born to do. They don't resist growth, they lean into it. They allow seasons to refine their clarity. They are willing to let go of outdated goals that no longer reflect their deeper understanding. They are not married to methods. They are loyal to mission. And because they are grounded in purpose, they are not threatened by the success of others. They celebrate it. They know that there is no competition in purpose. There is only completion. They run their race without needing to outrun anyone else. Their conversations reflect their purpose. They don't waste time in idle chatter that drains vision. They invest their words into ideas, plans, and encouragement. They speak with conviction because they are not guessing. They are living out of divine design. Even when they are still on the journey of building, they carry themselves with the confidence of someone who knows where they are going. They are not perfect, but they are intentional. They do not rely on luck, but on vision. They are led by purpose, not pressure, and that decision influences every area of their lives. Highly intelligent women understand that discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. They do not depend on motivation to sustain them because they know that motivation fluctuates. Instead, they rely on structure, on commitment, on consistent habits that move them forward regardless of how they feel in the moment. They do not wait for ideal conditions to begin. They begin, and they build consistency through intentional practice. They understand that greatness is not found in occasional bursts of excellence, but in daily choices that honor their goals and values. Their mornings are not random. They understand that how the day begins often determines how it unfolds. They set routines not to be rigid, but to create rhythm. Whether it's waking up early to read, pray, exercise, or plan, they establish rituals that feed their spirit, sharpen their mind, and focus their energy. They do not scroll through noise before consulting their vision. They set the tone of their day by feeding themselves what aligns with their assignment. They are not in a rush to impress. They are intentional about preparing themselves internally before engaging externally. They apply this same discipline to their work. Whether they are entrepreneurs, leaders, students, or caregivers, they do not rely on external validation to maintain their standards. They do what needs to be done whether anyone sees it or not. Their work ethic is rooted in integrity. They do not cut corners. They do not procrastinate on what matters. They do not let distractions dilute their focus. They know that consistency compounds. Small actions done daily lead to major results over time. They trust the process and respect the principle of sowing and reaping. They are not only dreamers, they are doers. In their personal development, they are just as committed. They schedule growth. They read consistently. They listen to teachings and reflect deeply. They invest in courses, in learning experiences, in mentorship, not to impress others, but to expand themselves. They do not wait until a crisis forces them to grow. They live with a posture of continuous development. They understand that their calling will require more from them in the future, so they prepare now. They are not reactive. They are proactive. They do not simply hope to rise to the occasion. They train daily so that when the moment comes, they are ready. Discipline also shows in how they manage their emotions and impulses. They do not let mood dictate momentum. They choose to follow through on commitments even when it is inconvenient. If they set a goal, they pursue it until it is achieved or wisely redirected. If they set a boundary, they uphold it even when tempted to compromise. Their no is clear and their yes is backed by action. They do not start and stop based on emotion. They anchor their behavior in conviction, and that conviction gives them endurance. Even in how they rest, discipline is evident. They do not glorify busyness. They know that rest is not laziness, it is preparation. They are disciplined enough to pause, to reset, to recharge. They create space for recovery so that they can continue in strength. They do not burn out chasing approval. They steward their health, their energy, and their peace with wisdom. They know that a woman who is well, rested, and spiritually aligned is more powerful than a woman who is constantly exhausted trying to meet everyone's expectations. They understand that without discipline, potential remains unused. Ideas stay unfulfilled. Purpose becomes delayed. Discipline is what builds the internal infrastructure necessary to carry the weight of a meaningful life. It sharpens their focus, deepens their resolve, and strengthens their resilience. They don't rely on talent alone. They train, they practice, they refine. They understand that purpose without discipline becomes frustration. So they choose daily to do the hard things, the necessary things, the quiet things that no one sees, but that build the strength required to live intentionally and lead effectively. A highly intelligent woman is not defined merely by intellect, education, or eloquence. She is distinguished by her intentional living. She is thoughtful in action, strategic in thinking, emotionally grounded, relationally wise, purpose-driven, and fiercely disciplined. Her greatness does not come from what she owns or displays, but from what she consistently cultivates within. She has mastered herself before she leads others. She protects her peace while pursuing her purpose. She does not chase approval because she knows who she is and where she is going. And in a world that rewards noise, she leads with depth. She doesn't just succeed, she builds legacy.